Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 20th of September. So nice to be with you. Yesterday and today, the weather has been perfect. Loving this weather. I've been out on the trail yesterday, saw some parishioners out there, people just casually walking or riding their bike or taking the dog for a walk. It's so nice. So nice to be out and about on a Sunday afternoon, a day of rest, just to be one with God, especially in nature after we celebrate the Eucharist today. So very nice. And today we are celebrating a wonderful obligatory memorial of the Korean martyrs, Andrew Kim and Paul Hasang. Unbelievable stories and 103 lay people. So Andrew Kim, a priest, the first native Catholic priest of Korea, and Paul Hasang, a seminarian and a catechist, and 103 lay men and women who died for the faith. That's what we celebrate today. You know, most days we have a saint that we're celebrating. Most days. The days that there are not saints mentioned on the calendar is an opportunity for a priest to celebrate the weekday mass. We call that a ferial day. Or we could celebrate a votive mass. I don't want to get too technical, but I think Catholics in general should know the liturgical calendar. How does the liturgical calendar work? And what masses are permissible to be celebrated? What masses are not permissible to be celebrated on that day? Now, I said to you, today is an obligatory memorial. Obviously, there's an obligation to celebrate this memorial. They're not a feast. Remember, we went through the ranking of the liturgical calendar, the liturgical table, so to speak, and it always starts out with the high one is a solemnity, then a feast, then the obligatory memorial, then an optional memorial, and then we have commemorations, and then we have a ferial day or a weekday. Anyway, today is an obligatory memorial of these Korean martyrs who died for the faith. The priest and deacon, if he is celebrating with the priest at Mass, helping the priest out, he would also wear a red vestment. So the priest would wear red, and so the deacon would wear also a matching red vestment. His vestment is called a dalmatic. My vestment is called a chasuble. Again, not too much information, but enough for Catholics to say, yeah, I heard that. I know what that is. Not to say, I don't know. But Catholics to be informed and to know their faith very well. So, how are you liking the seminarians? So I'm going to go over to you again that St. Mary's Parish is partnering with St. Charles Seminary. We're partnering with St. Charles Seminary. So we have become one of the parishes in which the students of the seminary will come one day a week for an internship. And we'll spend a day with a priest, most likely the pastor, in most situations. And they would walk with the pastor along the day so they could really navigate life as a parish priest. Since these seminarians, God willing, want to be priests, they want to have some practical experiences, like what really goes on day by day in the life of a parish, and what should I be expected to really be engaged in when I'm ordained a priest. I mean, so I'm studying at the seminary, studying all the knowledge that I need to know about theology, the scriptures, medical moral issues, canon law, the sacraments. I'm studying all that. But then now, how do I apply it? So the seminary allows the students then to take a day out of the week to go into various parishes. Now, not necessarily parishes all the time. I'll give an example. One seminary might be at a parish. Another seminarian might be at a high school. Another seminarian might be at a prison. Another seminarian could be at a soup kitchen. Another seminarian could be at a hospital. So it gives them a variety of places in which they will find themselves in as a priest. Oh, sure, the parish is the hub, but the priest just does not sit at a desk 24/7. He needs to be in the school teaching. He needs to be at the hospital making a visit. He may be at a soup kitchen helping. He might be praying the rosary outside of Planned Parenthood. He may be hearing confessions at the local high school. So the parish priest is one of those ministries that is not tied down of a certain schedule. That's why I love being a parish priest, because it's a variety of things. Now, don't get me wrong, when I come in to the office, I have a set schedule, but at a moment's notice, I could be at another place or doing another thing because I'm being called to do that, or someone needs me. Do you know what I mean? So the seminary asked me if I would accept seminarians and walk with them on Thursdays and give them practical experiences of what a priest does in a parish. And I said, absolutely. So Kevin and Santiago have been sent to St. Mary's here. Kevin is a seminarian studying for the Diocese of Arlington, Virginia. And Santiago is a seminarian studying for the Diocese of Lincoln, Nebraska. Both are students at our seminary. Both are in graduate school. They have already completed their college degree. And now they're in graduate school, basically studying theology. And on Thursdays, they come here. And so when they arrive at 10 a.m., they get themselves together. They come into the parish office center here, and they go see Sandy, who is our office manager. And Sandy has a schedule for them for the day of what they are to do. Sandy calls it their marching orders. It's really their schedule, the schedule of the day. And the first thing that they do is they at 10:35 to 11:30, they are teaching religion in the elementary school. So this semester, Kevin is teaching 6th grade confirmation. This semester, Santiago is teaching 2nd grade First Reconciliation / First Holy Communion. So they have to prepare a lesson, just like any other teacher would prepare a lesson, and then go in and teach the lesson. Now, they're not only teaching, they're also helping in the formation of these children to understand the faith better. It's not just spitting out information. In fact, I told the seminarians that I don't want them to lecture. They're not in a college classroom. They're with elementary school children, and you just can't lecture. You just can't be Charlie Burns' teacher. Wah, 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 wah. Because after the first 10 minutes, they're thinking of outside, they're looking outside, they're playing in their desk, they want to go to the bathroom, because they've lost interest. You can't lecture elementary school children. So I say to them, your pedagogy must be varied. In other words, your way of teaching, your method of teaching, your pedagogy has to be, a little bit of lecture, a little bit of explanation, using, of course, the board, a smart board, a whiteboard. Very rarely do we use blackboards anymore with chalk. Now everything is whiteboards with markers and smart boards that, pictures are up and diagrams and remote control and everything is computerized. And then there's group discussion. And maybe another is like actually acting out something by a play. So that 55 minutes has to be creatively expressed to get the point across to elementary school children. And I think they do a fabulous job. The teacher stays in the classroom to be their immediate supervisor, to supervise the lesson, and to give them constructive comments after the lesson to see if they're definitely on mark, and ways in which they could adjust the lesson next time. So it gives the seminarian an opportunity to learn how to teach, because teaching is an art. If you're a parent or a grandparent that had to do that during COVID, you know how difficult it is. Or maybe you heard on the news or on different blogs how difficult it is to teach. So it's just not like rambling off information. I call that lecturing. It's more than just rambling off information. Because like I said, after the first 10 minutes, they're done. You've lost them. They're in another zone. And it's just normal because they're elementary school children. I say you have to learn how to take your pedagogy and make sure that it fits the age and the group that you're speaking. You're speaking to a particular group, So, and I said that group is varied academically, socially, even their own personal needs, what they need and to learn. Years ago, and I'm not knocking what we did years ago in any stretch of the imagination, but years ago, they all were in a classroom, all in rows. The teacher just rambled off. You got it. If you didn't get it, you didn't get it. No one worried about like your special needs. No one really even asked you those questions. Maybe even parents didn't even know some of that stuff. After time, it's all discovered and we look at things differently and we try to educate the whole child. You've heard that term, educating the whole child. Well, that term comes into play when we learn more about the human person, the elementary school child, their mind, what they're dealing with. Can they see the board? Can they hear correctly? How do they process information? But you can't categorize everybody the same way. Mary over here has 20/20 vision. Joey does not. Mary has no problem with attention, focused attention. Joey has attention deficit. So when you look at a classroom, you're looking at a varied group of people that want to learn, but they all are on different levels. You can't just categorize them in one box. And I tell the seminarians that to prepare their lesson for a middle ground. And I said, gentlemen, why do we have you teach? I said, I don't want you to teach what you're learning, because you're learning graduate school theology. They have to follow whatever the lesson plan of the teacher is. That's where they follow. And I said, why are you doing this? I said, it's preparing you for not only when you have to give talks and teach a class, but believe it or not, even the Sunday homily. And I said, you know why? Because that church is a one-room schoolhouse. All different backgrounds of education, different backgrounds of how they process information, different backgrounds of their particular status in their life, whether they're single, married, divorced, widow, widower, all of that. From a 7-year-old to a 70-year-old, to a 35-year-old married man who is struggling with his marriage, to someone who just became a grandparent, to someone who just retired, someone who just lost their job, someone who just found out they have cancer. All of that. The church on a Sunday morning is a one-room schoolhouse. And I said, it's good for you to learn now how to get right into the middle of all that, where everyone can benefit from your homily. They're not all theologians, but they want to know about Jesus. They want to know about Jesus and about what he's asking of us. And they want to know that I want you to bring them in on a journey to the Holy Land. This past Sunday, Jesus was in Capernaum. Capernaum is the town of Jesus in his adult life. No longer at Bethlehem, no longer at Nazareth. Capernaum became the home of Jesus, right? Oh, sure, he was in Bethlehem, he was in Nazareth, but Capernaum is his home. He was there. It's very important that the things that they learn today as seminarians, how they could apply it to future ministry. So that's what they do in the morning. And then at lunch, we talk about it. We call those conversations, not that you have to remember all this, again, I want to share with you. We call them supervisory sessions, where the supervisor has an opportunity to talk and reflect about what has just happened, what they just did. After lunch and after they freshen up, they are meted with a group of people in our parish, which are very dear to my heart, the Legion of Mary. I talk about them often. Legion of Mary are a group of people that do everyday evangelization, even before the word evangelization was ever even popular among the Catholics and the Catholic Church. The Legion of Mary has been doing evangelization well before anybody else. And what they do is they just go around to either nursing homes, they go around to parishioners' homes, newly registered people, right? Or they go to people who have just had their baby baptized, or maybe someone who's sick in their home. and they make a visit. No agenda, just visiting, bringing the love of God. And are there for if they have any questions about the parish, about the faith, an opportunity to pray. Beautiful. Well, they bring the seminarians along with them. And the seminarians have a chance to visit a newly registered family, a family that just had their baby baptized, or someone who is ill and can't make it to Mass, or going to one of our local nursing homes. But see, the Legion of Mary facilitates that. And that's a beautiful thing, because they have a chance to talk to these other lay leaders and hear their story and how they are journeying with the Lord in discipleship. And the reason I do that is because I want them also to learn how to work with lay people. Because as a priest, they're probably going to be alone. As you can tell by this year, I do not have Father Keen with me anymore. And probably when they're ordained, it's going to be that way as well. Which means that they have to learn how to talk to lay people and work with lay people and understand that lay people have been doing this before they were probably even born. And to benefit from their experience. That's why I want them to go with them, to partner with them, and have an opportunity to see how all of this is being done in parishes as they're studying at the seminary. So after that, they come home and have a break, maybe get a snack. And then they meet with Susan, who is the Director of Communication and Stewardship. Both of those titles are a big umbrella and encompasses a lot. Of course, we know what communication is, but communication is on a broad sense. And stewardship means time, talent, and treasure. Not only fundraising, but also ministries, right? Don't you give your time and your talent in your ministry? So they meet with Susan and they do these. This gives them a chance to also prepare a talk, maybe on the faith, because they're going to have to one day teach RCIA. They're going to have to one day talk to a Bible study group. They're going to have to one day speak to faculty members about issues. So an array of different topics. And it's good that they put together a well-thought talk about the faith and be able to communicate that, even in a YouTube reflection, to practice that and to get well versed in it, knowing how to do it. And then they take a break, and then they meet me again, this time for prayer. Because this is not just about doing things. This is about centering our life on God. So, Mass, they already went to Mass at the seminary before they came here, already prayed morning prayer. We prayed grace before meals. They prayed with the children in the school. They pray with the people they visit. Then they come back and we pray evening prayer together. And then if there is a night event, they stay for dinner and they go to the night event. And now that night event could be anything from a pastoral council meeting, a finance council meeting, patricians, I'm sure you've heard of that word. It's the apologetic session for the Legion of Mary, Board of Limited Jurisdiction meeting, or another event that we're holding that the seminarians can participate. And then by 9 o'clock at night, they have to go back to the seminary. So their day is full here. So it's really a full day. They're getting a lot, but it's spaced out across the day. And they're prepared for that. So I just wanted to share with you a little bit more about the seminarians and how I feel blessed that the seminary asked us to be part of their formation. That should not be taken lightly. I feel blessed. I really do. Now, in most cases, it has to go through a couple different people before they're approved. So I don't know if you know that. It's just not like the seminary opens the parish book and says, how about St. Mary's? It doesn't work like that. So a lot of the seminary formators, we call them formators, they are priests who are working in formation for the seminarians. And they'll vote whether or not this parish is being asked or not. And then, do you know what? Sometimes, if they're not from the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, like these two are not, their bishop weighs in on the decision. It's a big thing. Mm-hmm. So I think we should be very blessed, to feel very blessed, that we are part of the training of future priests. We shouldn't take it lightly. So I wanted to give you that kind of background on my reflection today, and I think it's good for us to pray for seminarians. Every day at Mass, I hope you know that we do. So it's not just me saying, oh, pray for seminarians, pray for vocations. We actually do every day. For an increase in vocations to the priesthood and consecrated life, we pray to the Lord. Lord, hear our prayer. Because we need priests and religious. Who's going to run these parishes? How many parishes do we have in the Archdiocese of Philadelphia? 214. How many elementary schools do we have in the Archdiocese of Philadelphia? 102. See, it's not the same. You thought I was going to say 214. Nope. So we have 214 parishes, 102 schools. How many high schools do we have? 15. So we need priests and religious, and we need people to have children, and we need to have parents sending their children, if they can, to Catholic school. I always tell people it's easy math. 1 + 1 = 2. That's how it works. There's no secret. So tomorrow I have some special news to tell you, so stay tuned for tomorrow's reflection as well, okay? I'll see you.